Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a review show special. This is where I take a deep dive into a particular subject, a particular creator, and I highlight a particular product. And today we're going to be talking about a very good friend of mine, Kyle Purnell, who is, I personally think, one of the greatest creators in modern times. He has created some incredible routines, worked with a who's who when it comes to production companies. I think he's one of the only people that's worked with Vanishing Ink, he's worked with Alakazam, he's worked with Penguin, he's worked with Illusionist, and the body of work he puts out is nothing short of phenomenal. Now, he hasn't actually released anything for about 2 years. The last thing he released was Tiny Dancer, and he's back with a brand new download through Vanishing Ink. So this is a download, let me look at my notes, called The Weird and Wonderful by Kyle Purnell. And it's a download that contains 3 separate projects. Now, 2 of the projects are standalone tricks, and then the third project is 4 tricks. There's 4 tricks included in that project. So I'm going to talk about each one of them because you can get them all individually or you can get them together as a package deal called The Weird and Wonderful, and it is as a discounted price. Now, what I will tell you is Kyle is a friend of mine. However, you are getting my honest opinion. I have told Kyle anything that I review, I'm going to be completely honest. That goes without saying, but I wanted to let you guys know that. Now, I was able to sit down and chat with Kyle and talk about these 3 releases and also talk about other stuff that he's got coming out in the future. Because he has a lot that's coming out soon through various different production companies. And so the first thing we're going to show you is that interview. So I'm going to show you the interview first of all. And it's me sitting down with Kyle, chatting about these tricks, chatting about future releases. Let's have a look at this and then we'll bring it back into the studio and I will give it a full review. So, like I said in the intro, this is a Kyle Purnell review show special. Kyle Purnell is one of my, if not my favorite creator in Magic. He is an incredible magician, incredible performer, the nicest guy you'll ever meet. And just like, I wish I was creative as him. He is brilliant. And I've got him right here, right now, on the show to chat to everybody here. Kyle, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, Greg. How are you?
All the better for seeing you, buddy. All the better for
Oh
seeing
man.
you. And you know what? Before we start, we're talking about your new release through Vanishing Ink, obviously, which is what this review show special is all about. But before we talk about that, I do have to say 2 things. One, it's great to have you back. We haven't seen anything come from you from a creative point of view since I think Tiny Dancer a couple of years
Uh,
ago. Like that was the last kind of physical, big sort of
mhm.
boom release. And you know, obviously you're back now with this incredible project through Vanishing Ink. It's good to have you back.
Oh, thanks. It's really good to be back. I I felt not at home, not bringing stuff out. I felt like there was a lull, and but that lull got me some more time to put stuff together and finalize things, and I'm really happy with how this project came out.
That's brilliant, and you should be because it is an incredible project, and we'll talk about that in a minute. What I do want to say is, obviously, you've got this coming out through Vanishing Ink, but you're back and bigger and better than ever before because over the course of the next few months, you're going to be working with a few different production companies. I know you've got stuff coming out with Penguin. When I was over at Penguin last, they were like, "You wait till you see some of the stuff." Dalton Wayne was just like, this is the most insane stuff we've ever filmed. This was like Netflix style magic going on here. So like Dalton was super excited about the stuff that you filmed when you were over there.
I'm really excited too. Those 2 things in particular are 2 of my proudest creations.
That's exciting. And I know you're working with other production companies and I know you've got other stuff coming out. I know you're going to be working with a brand new production company that you've never done any work with before. So that a lot of people will know that are watching this channel. I'm not going
Hmm.
to say anything, but watch this space. You're going to be seeing a lot of Carl Purnell over the next year or 2. He's going to be everywhere.
I'm back. I'm back.
Back. You're back.
Yeah.
And what better way to announce to the world that you're back than working with Vanishing Ink, who have been the home of many of your best downloads, many of your best tricks. Big Picture is one of my favorite tricks that you have ever put out. I think that is such a genius use of that principle. So it's nice to see you back with Josh and Andy as well.
They're great to work with.
Mm. Yeah, Vanishing Ink are amazing. And what we have here is this is a download bundle. So there's no physical product here. You can literally go and buy this from Vanishing Ink right now, and literally seconds later, you're going to be able to learn it. And it's kind of I want to say it's three products in one, which it kind of is, but one of the products has multiple routines in it, and we'll get to that one last. So really, there's more than 3 tricks because one of the tricks has like 5 tricks. So in
Yeah.
essence, about 8 tricks, but there's 3 kind of distinct projects that are part of this download bundle. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, there's so it's a bundle that you can buy all together, and in that bundle there are 3 separate videos or 3 separate projects, right? And you actually can buy them individually too.
Ah,
Um, and in that one project, the nature of the project is it's an exploration of a 4 for 4 transpo. So it's like a mega project in that has 4 different ones. So you got 4 plus another one plus another one. So there are 6 tricks total that you are going to be learning.
perfect. Now, I'm going to start off with what I think is one of my favorite Carl Purnell tricks that I've ever seen. One of my favorite uses of a principle that I have explored many, many times in the past. And I thought I'd done some fairly clever stuff with it, but I haven't even come close to what you've achieved here. This is genius level thinking. I am, of course, talking about Splash Cash. Now, I want to find out all about this, but just to synopsisize people that are watching this, this is the effect. You have someone think of a number, you have them go onto your Instagram account, and there's a chart there that kind of shows the different colors that are associated with random numbers that people can think of. So they go on their phone to your Instagram, which is perfect, by the way.
Yeah.
And while they're there, they follow your account. They look up their number. They never write it down. They never say anything. They look at the different colors and they tell you what colors are associated with the number. Your wallet has been on the table the entire time. You
Yeah.
open up your wallet and you show that you've got a couple of cards in there and a bunch of money, and you put the money down, you put these cards down, you show the wallet is completely empty and there is nothing else in there but this money and these 2 cards. And let's say the colors are orange and green. They turn over these cards and you've got 100% hit. You kind of coincidence style thing. You predicted the colors that they would have associated with their number. But and think about this, they've never said their number. You then pick up the cash off the table, and this is the bit that floored me. And I didn't think I'd be fooled with the principle that I've used so many times myself. They pick up the money and they still haven't told you the number, and you just count the money and the total amount of bills that are in that cash that you put down way before, that's the number they thought of.
Yeah.
It's so freaking strong.
It's
It's so
so
good.
fun. And and so there's a performance video of that obviously for the trailer of the project. Um and it's a full performance. But I think it should be said that the performance that I do for the trailer isn't how I do it in my show. So I actually close my show with this because I there's nothing I can do that's stronger than that at the end, and it's almost like an afterthought. So I do a cube matching routine, and then it's like I come back to it because what I really do is earlier on in the show, I tell I that's when I bring someone up. I do the color thing, and I actually split apart the 2 components of the trick, right? So I do the color thing first, and say, "Oh, that means you're going to be great for this coin trick that we're going to do, or whatever effect you're going to be." Uh, it's like a way to just pick a spectator for something unrelated, right? And then they go back to the seats, and we continue on with the show. 20, 25 minutes later, I finish up with my main part of the show, the cube matching. They think it's done, and then I say, wait. I think someone was thinking of a number, and we never actually got to that number. Who was thinking of that number? Then they say it was me. I said, but you never told anybody the number. They say no. I say, and I never told you how much money I keep with me. So now it feels like this isn't even related to the color thing, right? So now it feels like true mind reading because they're just thinking of a number, and that's the amount of cash you have.
That's incredible. It's so strong. It reminds me a little bit of like Exact Change by Greg Wilson, which I know you referenced as on
Yeah.
the crediting for the thing. But
Well, and that's where
go on, sorry.
sorry. Yeah, so that's where it came from. Um, and the only reason I don't do exact change isn't because it's not super powerful, because it is. It's because of two things. Um, One, I wanted to be able to do it where they don't say the number at all, right? Or write it down or do a peak or whatever it is, right? But two, I wanted to be able to do it with zero math. And so with this method, you don't have to do any of that, because with exact change, it can be great, but I I'm not bad at math, but I don't love doing math in real time, because then I feel like I'm out of the moment,
Yeah,
right? And so I feel like I have to be doing a lot of mental gymnastics while I'm still trying to be engaging and interactive with the spectator in the moment. So with this, it completely gets rid of that, uh, and you can do it with zero real time math, because all the math is baked into the system.
that's incredible. Yeah, and what's interesting about this is the method that you're using is a method that uh, typically would require mathematics.
Yes,
And the way that you've actually adapted the principle and the way that you've actually used it, like you say, there's no math in play. It's genius. It's absolutely genius. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it so much.
thank you.
When I watched the performance, I can't tell you how cool this is. When I watched the performance, first I was fooled. And then I was watching the explanation. I was like, no, it can't be that. No, you're not doing what I think you're doing. Oh, no. And it was about the moment that you started folding up bills in the tutorial. I was like, oh, you son of a bitch. Oh, God. Yeah, this is the, like you get that feeling where you're like, oh, I should have thought about that. I should
Mm,
have. And then I realized I'm not clever enough to think of this. Like, this is just great. This is so good. Um,
thank you, man.
it really is. And I think a lot of people are going to be using this. And I love the fact you've got multiple different handlings as well. So you've got versions that use special wallets without giving too much away, but then
Hmm.
you've got versions that don't use special wallets and you can use
Correct.
everyday wallet. So if you are looking for an everyday carry where you just have some bills in your pocket, in your wallet, sorry, this is the trick for you. This is just perfect. And like I say, I love the fact that you go to Instagram and you get the spectator to go to your Instagram account on their phone. That's worth its weight in gold right there. So yeah,
Thank
that
you, man.
that's
Wow, those are
that
really kind words.
it's true. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. It's genuinely one of my favorite tricks. Now the next one I wanted to talk about, and let me just look at my notes here, was Prolink.
Yeah.
Prolink is another one that fooled me. Um, like, could you synopsisize this? Because this is the most insane linking routine I've ever seen.
Yeah. So it's you take a bill, you fold it up into like a little tube, and you fold that tube up into a V so that the ends are together. I take a paper clip, you clip the ends together, so it's ostensibly an endless loop. Then you take a borrowed ring, and you just tap it to the link to the bill, and that borrowed ring does link onto the bill. But not only does it look like it's linked, right? Because as magicians, we're in the magic world. We know that just because something appears that it's linked on doesn't mean that's actually in a linked state, right? Um, but you can you can link everything together and then immediately take the paperclip off, and it is actually on there, and you can show that it's on there, and you can, from that point, you don't have to clean up or anything. You can just hand the outstretched bill with the ring genuinely on it, and you can even end the routine there if you want, or you can put it back together, clip it back up, and you can pull the ring back off. And an optional ending is that you can make the ring disappear and end wherever you want, on your finger, on the spectator's shoulder, in a nest of wallets, whatever you want.
Yeah, it's so strong. And I've said this about you before, which is you seem to have this ability, and I think you're one of yeah, I think you're the best in the world at doing this. You create magic that looks like it uses some sort of insane gimmick, whilst in reality, you're using normal objects with no gimmicks and just very clever routining, sometimes optical displays, and a little bit of sleight of hand, but nothing too difficult. And you create the same illusion that a lot of people would need to create. You know, most people that would go down the route of trying to do this would come up with a flat bill, a himbering, you know, like they come up with so many different flappy flip flop flaps to do this, while you're just like, nah, real men just use a real bill and just use a real ring, and that's how it's done where I come from. You know what I mean? It's
I do know what you mean, and it comes back to something that Dan Harlan and I talked about during my Penguin Live lecture. He said, "I would rather manipulate the world around me than have it gimmicked for me,"
I like
and
that.
I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah, I very much like that. And this is one of those, again, you know, it's a bit of a buzzword these days. Everybody's talking about this. But it's an everyday carry. This is genuinely an everyday carry. I know you work in a lot of restaurants, you do a lot of restaurant work. I can imagine
Mhm.
this killing in a restaurant.
Yeah, and what's funny is not a lot of my stuff actually is a true everyday carry. Like it might use like cards, but like a deck of cards really isn't an everyday carry. Like you have to choose to bring it with you, right? Or I might have something with like a packet trick, but you have to choose to carry that. This is something that you would just have in your wallet and you just stick it in your wallet, and as long as you have your wallet with you, I would say yeah, this is one of my few tricks that is a true everyday carry.
It really is. And it's great. And it's one visual moment of, as Paul Harris would say, one visual moment of strange.
Yeah.
And a great lead in. I was watching it. I was like, this would be an amazing lead in to like a ring and string routine or something like that. It'd just be, you know, you've got the ring, you've borrowed it, you're doing something crazy with it. Now let's go up and take it to the next level. It's great. Again, it's really good.
Now here's the $1 million question. I know it works with plastic Canadian bills. Does it work with plastic UK bills?
I'm struggling to get it to work at the moment.
Okay.
I've got it working with dollars,
Okay.
but I'm struggling to get it to work with UK. I think that it could, but I think there's going to be a steeper learning curve.
Sure. And what's beautiful about this is that it's just one bill you carry with you anyway, right? So
Hmm.
even if you are in the UK and you find that it's not working with this is a perfect effect to talk about these magical qualities of a US bill. Have you seen a US bill? And then and then it's a different kind of presentation because you can present it to your UK clients as this weird object that maybe they've seen before, maybe they haven't. But if you have seen it, you haven't seen what it can do, and then so that's kind of the way that you can justify having a US bill in the UK.
Well, my plan is in my head. I'm going to talk about a pivotal moment in my career, which was many, many years ago, watching David Copperfield walk through the Great Wall of China. And
Mm.
I'm going to say, let's use, as David Copperfield was America, and this took place in
Oh,
America.
I love that.
Yeah, let's use this dollar bill, and this is going to represent David Copperfield. Can you've got a ring that's going to be that's solid? Let's use that as the Great Wall of China. Let me show you what this looked like. So that's kind of my thought process going with it.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, killer, absolutely killer. And then we're going completely in a different direction. We've gone from, we've gone from two kind of everyday carry type things with bills, and now we're going into card magic, but more specifically packet tricks. More
Yeah.
specifically, 4-for-4 transpositions, right?
Yeah.
And it's your card magic is beautiful. It really is. I mean, I still say one of my favorite card routines of all time that use a packet of cards is your version of Doc Daly's with the different colored backs. I
Hmm.
think that's absolutely genius. Rainbow Road is amazing. I wish I could do it. Like there's so many great. You seem to be, you have so many wonderful ideas with a packet, and one with a packet of cards. And one thing that I know that you've kind of almost, I'd like to use the word pioneered. One thing that you've pioneered in the past is the use of optical discrepancies and step systems to create moments that look impossible, that kind of replicate sleight of hand with visual trickery. And
Hmm.
this project, you haven't gone down that route. There's not really any optical displays or anything like that. It's pure sleight of hand. And there's some wonderful routining in here, including is it the Bob Saget switch?
Yeah, the Bob Saget switch. Well, was Bob Saget big in the UK?
Not at all. I had to Google him. Maybe it's just me not
He
knowing.
was he was a household name in the 90s growing up because he was like the sitcom dad
Yeah.
growing up. And So basically, and I don't think this is going to give away anything. There's a move that I use um, in the project. I call it the Bob Saget switch, and the reason is because it is it's a move. I'm trying not to expose anything. It uses something akin to a pass uh, in order to accomplish a packet switch. So I started calling it the Passacket switch, and then that reminded me Passacket reminded me of Bob Saget, so I started calling it the Bob Saget switch. It's the stupidest name I've ever given any one of my techniques, uh, but that's what it is, and it will forever be called the Bob Saget switch.
But it's amazing. It's such a great switch. I've learned, and people are going to see a performance of this later on in the review. I've learned the Transpoke Kings,
Mhm.
which is beautiful. It's a great use of that switch. Very, very streamlined. Just one count used a few times with one sort of adjustment, and everything just flows together so well that you've got this wonderful, literally no gimmicks. Obviously, it's Carl
No.
Purnell. No gimmick. Just you just take four kings and four twos or whatever out the deck, and just two four of a kinds, and you can do this wonderful 4 for 4 switch where four cards are put down on the table. The other four cards are displayed one at a time. They turn face down, and then when you turn them face up, they've switched, and then they look at the cards on the table, and just really clever routining, really
Thank
clever
you.
routining, and it's a great use of that. Bob Sack. I think that a lot of people that watch this that learn that switch, they're going to be using it. I think they'll apply it to their own card magic. I think it's got a lot of applications beyond what you've actually talked about
I
here on.
think so too. Well, because just because there's something new doesn't mean it's necessarily worthy or pushes the narrative forward. But what I love about the Bob Saget switch is it is the most effective, or sorry, efficient switch that I've ever used, because there's no counting, right? And there's certainly no like rotating as you're going. Oh, we got this king, we got the king of clubs, we got the king of that. You just show the four kings, and then you put the other ones down. Apparently, and then you're ready to go in the
I'll just
position that you need to be.
say while I was waiting for you to come on this Zoom call, just proof all the time at the moment, I'm actually practicing that routine. I'm having these 8 cards with me, and I'm practicing routines off this. It's that they're
Love
fun
them.
to practice. They're
They are
fun.
fun to practice.
Yeah, they really are. But that's not my favorite routine. My favorite routine is the stand-up reset. I mean, reset by Paul Harris was one of my favorite tricks of all time. I've seen so many different variations of reset. I think it reset Swindle from
Caleb Wiles,
yes, Caleb Wiles. That has been my favorite version of reset for
amazing,
years.
really amazing.
As much as I love Caleb Wiles, it has been superseded in 2025 by stand-up reset. This is beautiful. For people that don't know, basically reset is the, let's say you're using twos and kings. Twos are put to one side. You take the kings one at a time. They change into the twos. Then they change back in kind of a reset. Um, the way that this is structured, it eliminates all the problems that you have inherently with this routine.
Mm.
And every single change is so visual. Every change, it looks like it's not actually, you're not even touching let's say the twos are changing places with the kings. You're not actually touching the twos. They're just popping. The color changes that you're using isn't normal techniques that you would normally see with a
Mm.
routine like this, and the displays and the grips. This is like a masterclass in how to structure a routine without using gaps, without using extras, without using anything, and really just, it's brilliant, Kyle. It's brilliant.
Thank you. What my favorite part about it, besides the fact that you don't have to cop anything,
Mhm.
uh, is um, in my head when you're constructing like a small packet effect, or in this case a transpo routine. I think any time that you count or go through cards, it should be the same count all the time. And I love what Paul did with reset. The only thing I didn't love, because I don't even mind copying, right? But the thing I didn't love is the fact that you start with an Elmsley, and then throughout later you have to go into like a series of doubles, and then a series of um uh like then a different display. I forget what that one's called. And it certainly works, and it's really great, and it's the OG for a reason. Um, but I love the fact that when you show the twos, you count them one way, and then when you do after you change them all into everything, then you count through the kings the exact same way.
Yes. Yeah. It's genius. The routining behind it, and it's not the easiest routine to learn,
It's not.
but I don't see a problem with that. Sometimes I see that I review things sometimes, obviously, and I'll review something, and people will say in the comments, "Oh, this looks too hard for me. This looks too hard for me." And I don't know, but I love learning material that's going to take a while to learn. One, I love practicing it. I'm carrying those cards around with me all the time at the moment to practice the routine. It's a fun routine to do. But secondly, it gives you a sense of accomplishments when you have got it to a point that you feel that it's ready to go out. And why not challenge yourself? I'm all for doing easy stuff, absolutely fine. I have a big repertoire of self-working magic, but I don't think that means that we should completely step away from anything that's going to take a little bit of effort. You know what I mean?
No, I do know what you mean. I think as a magician, I talk about this in my lecture. Uh, we need to do things that are skilled services. And skilled services, as I describe them, are things that either uh, that a magician can do that a layman or a non-magician either can't do, wouldn't do, or wouldn't think to do. Right. And
Mm.
so that means you can do self-working magic as long as you include one of those other things. Because even if it's self-working, yeah, a non-magician could do it, right? So we're not talking about this one, but you could add things in that routine that you either wouldn't do, or sorry, they wouldn't do if they were the magician and just learned the trick, or they wouldn't think to do. So things like addressing everybody by name, thinking about where your eyes are when you're glancing and engaging with people, use scripting in a certain way that has a really engaging story, right? These are either things that they might not have the skill set to do, or they have a non-magician might have this preconceived notion of what a magician does, so they wouldn't think to do all these other things, these skilled services that you can sprinkle in. So absolutely, you can do self-working stuff and still provide skilled services. But I think the easiest way to provide skilled services is to do hard magic. I like hard magic. I like doing things that are a challenge um, because every once in a while, the greatest magician in the world will still get caught every once in a while, right? I would rather be caught doing something really hard, because then at the very least they will just look and say, I saw what he did, but good God, look what he's doing. That's crazy.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, I completely agree with you, 100%. And yeah, genuinely, it's so fun to practice as well. If you like learning sleight of hand, and there's a lot of new techniques in here that I hadn't seen before, and new approaches to older techniques, then this is great. Do you want to quickly synopsisize the other three routines that are on the Transpo project?
Yeah, so there's two more. One is
Oh, two
called
more,
quick.
sorry, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So one is called Quick Swap, which uses the Bob Saget switch, and it's just the most direct transpo that I've ever come up with. So you just show four cards, you show the other four cards very cleanly. You just take two without doing any counts or any thing like that, and you just shake them. And when you shake them, they switch with the other ones, and you can immediately spread the other packet and show that the ones that they just saw in the first hand are now in the second hand. So it's very direct and it's very simple, but there's a lot of small details that are put into it to make it look more magical than it arguably is.
Yeah.
And then the last one is called White Whale 2.0, and the white whale does use one of those optical moves, and he uses four blanks and four fours. What I love about this is that this is one of those things that looks like you're using a gimmick, but it's not. And you can do, if you bring around your four fours and your four blanks, you can do a jumbo routine by combining every single piece in this project together. I usually don't. I use three of the four routines in there, because I think four is just maybe a tinge too much for me and my pacing and my style, stuff like that. But I start off with Quick Swap, then I go into Standup Reset, and then I finish with White Whale 2.0.
Wow. That's amazing. And that's the point. If somebody is buying this, you've got so many different options. You can just learn one, or you can learn two, or you can learn three, you can learn four. It's great. It's fantastic. Such an eclectic range of material. And I'm a huge fan. Talk about being back with a bang. This is
What we're
great.
trying to do.
Now, I'm going to take it back into the studio and give it a full review. But before I do, two questions very quickly. So number one, what's the next thing coming out from Kyle? Where should we be looking? Should we be looking at Penguin or somewhere else? And more importantly, I know that you've got, and I'm going to go on record here. I'm officially going on record and telling people you have the greatest moving hole ever created. Now, that's not even, if you've not seen it, and I know it did the rounds a little bit on social media when you first came up with it, and I know you're releasing it. Now, I'm telling people I've been a big fan of the moving hole plot, Keymaster, hello, for a very, very long time. I'm telling you, this is it. Done. Completed. That's it. Move on. No one else can touch the moving hole plot now. You've finished it. It's amazing. It's the best thing I've ever seen. Is it coming out, and when?
It is coming out. I think I could even say that it's coming out with Penguin. I don't know when. We had a little bit of a snafu, and it wasn't Penguin's fault at all. It was kind of my fault. I won't get into things, but it was really just the fact that I was trying to put too much into the project, which made the usability of the prop a lot more difficult than it had to be. So now we're just kind of stripping things back, going back to basics. And it would be great if it was out in 2025 sometime, but I certainly don't know when. I love it. It's one of my favorite creations as well. It looks good in social media, but it looks really good in person as well. I show it to magicians all the time at conventions. If you ever see me at a convention, ask me to show it to you. I always have it. It's in my phone case at all times.
And it is as good as I'm saying. So that's coming out at some point through Penguin Magic. Obviously, you and I both know that you don't find out when something's coming out from Penguin Magic until you get the email from a jar saying, we've got a new Carl Purnell trick. And you go, oh, nice of them to tell me. That's how the communication works at Penguin.
Love you, Sean.
Love you, Sean. Yeah, no, it's they've got so much stuff coming out. It's difficult to keep on top.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure they don't know what's coming out from day to day. I think it's just like, oh, that's finished.
And I also and the other thing that I have coming out, I'm guessing will probably come out before the whole thing, is my favorite, and I'm going to try to say this without an ego, but I would say the best bill penetration will be on the market here soon.
Really?
Yeah, bill through a bill, and it's been getting a lot of good feedback, and I think this is going to be a game changer, to be honest with you, because they're two ungimmicked bills, and it looks like you couldn't possibly do something like this without an extra bill or an extra piece or some sort of gimmick, but that's exactly what you do.
Wow, that sounds good.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I think so. Keep your eyes out for that on Penguin too.
There you go. You heard it here first. Kyle, I'm going to take this into the studio and give it a full review, but I want to say thank you so much. I know how busy you are. I know you've had limited time, so thank you for jumping on the channel. Thanks for chatting to me. I'm sure we'll see you again soon. But you, my friend, you are bloody amazing. So thanks for jumping.
Right back at you, dude.
Awesome. Guys, let's take it back into the studio and give all three of these routines a full review. So first of all, thank you so much to Mr. Kyle Purnell. I know he's very busy, and it's always great when he finds time to jump on the channel with me. So thank you, Kyle. And now we're going to get into the review. And the first trick we're going to be looking at, let me look at my notes. In fact, let me get my notes. The first thing we're going to be looking at is Cash Splash, which is, in essence, a prediction of a number. Basically what happens, and I think I talked about this on the interview with Kyle, but basically somebody thinks of a number, you have them go onto your Instagram account. You don't have to, there's other ways of doing it. You get the same document that you can print out. So if you don't want to use a mobile phone, you can just give them the chart that's on Instagram. It's completely up to you. But the best way of doing it is having them go onto Instagram. They see a chart on your Instagram that they look at on their phone. They look at what colors are associated with their number, and they can see that all different numbers, all different colors, it's all completely random. And then the wallet that's on the table, you predict the colors that they have associated with their number. And then as a kicker, the amount of money you had in your wallet totals the number they were thinking of. Now, I'm going to show you a performance of this by Kyle. So let's have a look at a performance of Kyle doing this, a full performance to camera, and then I'll talk about what
Emily.
I think.
Hi.
It's nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Can I tell you something about me? I'm not a mind reader. I don't read minds, I never could. But I do have something that can imitate mind reading, maybe better than most things I've ever seen. But it doesn't work all the time. And I don't know if we're going to be cerebrally compatible, so we need to do a test first. Okay? If we do the test, and it's called the color test, if we do the color test and we see that we're like a 50% match or 75% match, I feel comfortable proceeding with something completely impossible.
I'm in.
Sound cool?
Great.
Excellent. The color test is, I actually keep it on my Instagram. Can you pull out your phone for me, please? And go to Kyle Purnell Magic on Instagram. And let me know when you've gotten there, please.
All right, I'm here.
Yeah, you good? If you scroll down, there is a post that has a bunch of weird color sequences on it, yeah? Can you open that up, please? And if you look, it has a bunch of different numbers. Beside each one is a bunch of different random colors, and you can swipe through, and you see a lot of them are just a bunch of really random patterns. And that's important because it's not really about the number right now, it's about the colors. I want to see how compatible we are.
Okay.
So I want you to think of a 2-digit number, okay? Think of one. I think they only go up to like 60 or so, so keep your number under 60. Find your number on there. You might have to swipe. Yeah, we're good?
Yep.
I don't care about the number, I care about the colors. What colors are beside your number?
Red and orange.
You're kidding. Emily, this is the color compatibility test. I also took the test. And I also keep in my wallet 2 colors. Oh, that's one. I also keep one over here. Now, to be clear, I want to make sure this is as clear as we can make it. I do have cash. Besides that, though, nothing else. Just make sure, nothing else in here.
Nope.
You thought of 2 colors. I thought of 2 colors. We're only going for 50%. So as long as one of these is a match, I feel comfortable proceeding.
Great.
You said red and orange? I have red. I also have orange, which is really fascinating. Hey, I think we're a good fit.
We're a good fit.
Would you feel comfortable proceeding with something that is arguably going to look like true mind reading?
Definitely.
Would you agree that this isn't really mind reading? It's cool, but it's not mind reading. You were kind of randomly assigned these colors, and it was a weird coincidence, or it just means that we're compatible, right? But you didn't think of the colors, they were assigned to you. If it was going to be real mind reading, that means you would have to have a thought that's preferable, that you went out of your way to make. Something like a number. You're thinking of a number, right? Yeah, you never said this number to me. You never written it down. You never whispered it into anyone's ear. And I never told you how much money I always keep in my wallet. Now, Emily, here's the important part. You never said your number, and I don't even want you to say it out loud now. The only way anyone watching at home will know is based on how you react. Okay? I always keep $10, $15, $20, 21, 22, 23, exactly $24. Were you thinking of 24?
Yes.
High five, Emily. Excellent.
So first of all, I think this is absolutely genius. This is brilliant. This is one of my favorite applications of the principle that Kyle's using. People that have been in magic for a while might recognize the principle. However, what Kyle's done with this is through the use of color, he's eliminated any mathematics at all. And he's even eliminated the moment where you kind of have to get a spectator to go back and forth and, you know, divide things into certain piles. All of that is gone. And all that's left is look up your number. What colors have you got? Look, I predicted it. And once you hear the colors, that's all you need to know. There's no memory work. There's no maths. There's no nothing. It's going to work itself. Now, pros. This is brilliant. Like absolutely brilliant. The method is genius. It's completely self-working. It's such an engaging plot, and it looks like an everyday carry, but is big enough to close a show. And you heard on the interview how Kyle closes his show with this. This is something that everyone should be doing. I love this. Now, there are a couple of cons that you need to be aware of. The biggest con for me is really you need to be using American money to make this work, because it revolves around the use of $1 bills. And in the UK, we haven't had £1 bills or £1 notes for a long time. Now it's £1 coins. The lowest denomination that we have is a £5 note. It wouldn't really work with a £5 note. You need to have $1 bills. Now, there are ways around it. You could use Monopoly money, for example, in your wallet, but it's kind of weird to carry around Monopoly money. Maybe you could craft a presentation around it, or you could use checks, and you could have checks. You could say, I haven't used this wallet in a long time. I've even got checks in here that I've still got to pay into the bank. It's probably a bit too late right now. But let me show you something with some of these checks in my wallet, or let me show you something with the checks that I've got in my wallet. You could kind of maybe do it that way. I don't think it's as good as using actual money, but it's something to bear in mind. I'm really frustrated because the best way to do it is with $1 bills, and I don't think I can justify having a bunch of $1 bills in my wallet. I came back from America and I've still got 37 $1 bills. You know, it's kind of, it doesn't really work. If I lived in America, I would be all over this in a heartbeat. I'm trying to figure out a way of making it work in the UK, but for me, that's the biggest con. The second thing is, there's a couple of different ways of doing this. The optimum way is using a special wallet, which is readily available, that Kyle is going to go through with you, but it's not the only way. You do have another wallet that you can use as well. You can use your own regular wallet. As long as you've got a billfold style wallet, you are good, right? So, but you do need a billfold style wallet. That's something to bear in mind, but it can be a regular wallet. That's the only other con. And really, if you want to go really picky with this, it's not an immediate instant reset. Everything's examinable. There's no angle issues. There's no table, all that good stuff. But the reset would probably take about 30 seconds, I think, maybe 30 seconds to a minute. And you couldn't really do that in front of the audience. So that's the other thing to consider as well. So for restaurant workers, it's great. If you're busily going around from group to group, then maybe this is something that's maybe not for you. But for me personally, this is genius. If anybody's watching this and has it and can think of a way of justifying the use of dollar bills or another way of actually doing it in the UK, I would love to hear from you, because I really want to do this. Cash Splash is amazing. I'm going to rate each individual project, and Cash Splash I'm going to give 150%. Okay, so the next project of the three is called Prolink, and this is a linking bill. So what you do is you take a dollar bill and you fold it around and you put a paper clip on it, essentially making a endless circle, a loop. And then you borrow a ring and you link them together, and it looks that good, and everything's examinable. Borrowed ring, borrowed bill, all that fun stuff. Now, this is another trick that's amazing. In fact, let me actually show you a performance of this as well. So this is Kyle performing Prolink. Let's have a look at a performance to camera, and then I'll tell you what.
Hey friends, let's come on down here to show you some of my prized possessions. I don't like to brag, but I do have $20. High roller over here. We also have my wedding ring and a paper clip. And this is how it works. We want to do a linking rings, the Chinese linking rings. But to do it on a budget, I take $20 and you fold it up. Once you have it folded up into a tube, you fold it into a V, so both ends are here. And if you have both ends up there, then we lock them in place so there's no way on and no way off. If there's no way on and no way off, and over here there's no way on, there's no way off,
then this would be completely impossible. And my friends, I want you to look very carefully. This genuinely is on. And when I say genuinely, I mean you can take it off and you can see that it truly goes back and forth. It is genuinely on the bill. If you can get it on, Kyle, can you take it off? Well, we can try our very best. Let's make sure you can see it from both sides. In fact, let's get it completely isolated. And if you can see it from the front, that means you can see it from the side. You could even tug it. Watch very carefully. 1, 2, 3. Then, of course, just the ring, just the clip, just the bill. And of course, everything can be completely examined.
Okay, so that was Prolink. It's very, very good, very, very strong. Again, the negative that I have is it's not going to work with polymer bills. I have tried using it with polymer bills, and it makes the handling very, very difficult. I've learnt it with a dollar bill, and like you probably heard in the interview, I'm not at a position yet where I feel comfortable performing it to camera. I don't want to, like expose the trick or anything for Kyle. It's going to require a bit more practice, and that's the thing about this. This is a little bit knacky. It's not difficult by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a bit knacky. It's going to take a little bit of practice. It's the sort of thing that you can do immediately, but it's going to take a little bit of practice to make it look really good, right? But my plan is, I like this so much, I do want to do it. I plan on using the dollar bill and using the David Copperfield walking through the Great Fall of China kind of concept that I talked about in the interview with Kyle. But this is great. This is fantastic. I do a lot of stuff with borrowed rings. I do ring and string. I do a bunch of ring manipulation. I do ring on wand, ring on spoon, spooning around. I do a whole bunch of different stuff. And I love, this would make such a great lead into this. I think that this is something very, very different, and the visuals on this looks great. And unlike the first trick, Cash Splash, where I don't think you can justify using that many American bills in your wallet, I do think you can justify having one American bill in your wallet very, very easily. I don't think that's a problem at all. So Prolink is great. If you're looking for an impossible, really visual link that's fairly easy to do, needs to take a bit of practice, then this is the one to go for. I'm going to give this 100%. Finally, you have Swap Shop. Now, Swap Shop is a collection of routines where two fours of a kind change places with each other. So you have a 4 of a kind and a 4 of a kind change places. Now, the standout trick for me on this is Standup Reset, which is Kyle's version of Reset by Paul Harris. It is brilliant. I'm currently in the middle of learning it. I'm kind of there, but I'm not 100% there. But that is the standout trick. That is the best version of Reset that I have ever seen. Keep watching Magic TV because I am going to be doing a performance of that soon. However, I have learned one of the other routines. So I've learned the transpo, and this is really fun. So this is like a 4-for-4 transpo, but it's got a twisting element in it as well. The cool thing is that the way that this routine is routined and the structure of it, it is so direct. There's no moments where you have to do displacements. There's one moment where you won't even realize the displacement's done. And the switch that you use at the beginning to get yourself into the position to do this routine is just amazing. It's such a great, the Bob Saget switch I am going to be using in a lot of my routines because I think that there's so much you can do with this. But let's have a look at a performance of me doing this now so you can see exactly what the trick looks like. There's no gimmicks, there's no gaffs. There's no extras. I literally do just have 8 cards. That's my layman pattern, by the way, Michael, just so you know. But I've got 4 2s and I've got 4 kings. However, you are, or if you were here and I had the full deck, which I haven't, you would be able to pick the cards that I used, if that made sense. Now, the idea, Michael, is I'm going to take the 2s. I'm going to put the 2s there in front of me. Can you see them there? Yeah. Watch the kings. Because you see, if I just snap my fingers like this, I'm going to show you a bit of sleight of hand. You see, when I snap my fingers, one of those kings actually turns face down. Huh? I'm going to do that again for you. Look, I just snap my fingers, and when I do, now we have 2 face down and 2 face up. See, I'll do it again. You see, all I have to do is square up, snap my fingers. The very second that I do, that's the 3rd king face down. And one last time, a snap of the fingers, that's all I have to do. And just like that, that's all 4 kings that turn face down. That, my friend, is sleight of hand. This is real magic. You see, I understand how the kings turn face down. What I don't understand is how the kings turn into 2s. You see, now over here, we have the 1, 2, 3, 4 2s. And the reason we have the 1, 2, 3, 4 2s is because over here on the table, we have the 1, 2, 3, 4 kings. Okay, so that's one of the routines. Like I say, it's great. That's going to be in my repertoire. I know it is. The Standup Reset is very, very good as well. There's another version of the 4/4 transpo, which is very direct. And there's another version that uses Kyle's kind of signature optical display type thing to be able to make it look like something is what it is when in actual fact it's not, without giving too much away. Like Carl said in the interview, you can actually combine all these together, but to be honest, the routine that you just saw me perform, I've already done this a couple of times and I've had great reactions just from that one phase. If you do other routines using 4/4 transpose or productions of 4 of a kinds, this is a great sequence to slot into that. And the Stand-Up Reset is amazing. I've always wanted to do reset in a mix and mingle situation. I'm so glad I'm going to be able to. Hopefully in the next week I'll be able to put a video up of the performance of that as well. But as it stands, this is amazing. I love this. I'm going to give this 95% as well. So that's 95% for Swap Shop. 3 incredible projects making up 1 great download. So I'm going to go on record and I'm going to say that this was probably the download of the year so far. Out of every download I've seen, this is the one that's download of the year. Everything on here is solid. The card stuff especially is super fun to perform and super fun to practice. But, the bill routine, if you live in America, you have to do this. You have to do this. Everything is completely solid. Kyle Purnell is back with a bang. I can't wait to see what's coming out next because I know he's got a bunch of stuff coming out soon. But do me a favor, let me know what you think in the comments down below. You want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't gone and watched the Q&A, please do so. That went up at 12 o'clock today. And if you haven't joined the Netrix, it's my online streaming platform for magicians. Make sure you watch it. It's thenetrix.com. Tonight we've got a Q&A. Live Q&A. Is it a live Q&A? Yeah, I think it's the live Q&A tonight. So if you're a Netrix member, I'll see you in the VMC tonight at 10 p.m. Outside of that, I'll see you again soon. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Craig. This has been Magic TV.